Hey, this is Cameron, and it's a little dark in here. Let me turn some lights on. Welcome to the practice log. Alright, well, it's another night session, so let's not waste any time for once in our lives, and let's just go ahead and get to the chair, shall we? It's Saturday night. He was an American girl. ASMR. Cold hands, cold hands. I dropped my mic. Oh, I dented it a little bit too. It's probably still fine. I really hope that the audio isn't messed up. I should check it. Alright, well, back to it. Back to the grind. Yeah, how are you doing tonight? Doing well, I hope? We're talking today, because you know that we got stuff to talk about. I got stuff to talk about. I've mentioned this before, but I go through, like, periods where I learn a lot of music, and then periods where I write a lot of music, and it's kind of this, like, roller coaster. I've been in a really big, like, music learning phase. You've basically seen, like, a lot of it. I don't know, as the days go by, I'm getting more and more antsy to, like, write more music. I don't know. I'm kind of getting to that place now. Which doesn't mean I'm gonna stop, like, learning new music, because I think it's been really good for me to, like, really focus on these sonatas that I've been learning. But I think I might start writing music on the side. I don't know if I'm going to include that in my YouTube channel. I might show it to you, like, when I'm done. I guess the goal for that would be to eventually, like, release it publicly in, like, an album of some kind. But I don't know. It's in the early works right now. I've been taking this time to answer comment questions, so let's take a look at the comment section. This is a really old one. I don't know how old it is because it's a screenshot that's in my files. But this one is from 2Fioritu. What's up? How's it going? Hope you're still watching. You commented this a long time ago. But you said, "Hey Cameron, loving the content so far." So far, hopefully it didn't go off a cliff for you. I've only just started getting back into the beauty of Baroque. That's nice. Yeah. I've got to push back on the modern take towards composition a little bit. I often want to hear what musicians have to say for themselves, not necessarily how well they can recite/interpret what others have said before. Yeah, I mean, are you sure you want to hear what they all have to say? I'm just kidding. I'm totally just kidding. Which there's more to it. I don't know why I'm putting my phone away. If you're a classical music performer, there really isn't any pressure at all to compose. That's not really something that you have to be able to do. That wasn't always the case. Like, of course you hear stories. Like, all the composers that we play were, like, also performers, and a lot of modern composers, usually they're less so performers. That's also because I feel like everyone is so specialized nowadays, and they're also, like, insanely good. Like, I think probably better than they used to be. At least, like, technically better. I mean, technically, we're at, like, a pinnacle in classical music. Like, everybody is so freaking good at such a young age. Can I get some of that? Where's that stuff at? Let me get some of that. I wish I could get some and share it with you guys, but I don't know. But yeah, there's not a whole lot of pressure to compose. I didn't start as a classical performer. Like, I've talked about this. Improv was kind of the first thing I did on guitar. I learned a couple of, like, rock songs, learned the fundamentals, drilled my scales for a long time, then eventually just started building chords out of them, and then writing my own music. And that was pretty much what I did up until I was 19. The only pressure for composition I really saw in music school was just in theory classes. Sometimes in theory classes there would be, like, a composition assignment, but they were usually just that, like, assignments just to, like, get a point across. I feel like the kind of composing that I do now is much more loose. And the way I compose is definitely very, like, guitar-centric. Like, I'm imagining the fretboard as I'm writing the notes in. It's different than what I did in theory class. What was I talking about? Let me go back to the question. Alright, so back to what you're saying. That being said, one should absolutely learn the things they find interesting. Facts, dude. Heck yeah. But the importance of writing for yourself and others should not be underemphasized. The gap between musical performance and musical composition should not be as vast as it appears to be today, and I think we miss out on a lot of great music because of it. I mean, I'm just kidding. I'm joking around here, guys. Is this a justifiable opinion, or am I crazy? XD! We have a child of the internet here, throwing around XDs. Can I get an ooh up in here? Very interested to follow your musical journey. Much love and support. Yeah, composition's cool. Do I think it's crucial to be a good performer? I don't know. I'm not sure. It's definitely something that certain people are more inclined to do. Like, I'm one of those people. That's how I started with music in the first place. Like, I wanted to write my own music. And then as I, like, matured and got into classical, I kind of got away from that a little bit. And I say, like, matured, not like that's the mature thing to do, learning other people's music. But I don't know. I guess I got kind of sick of what I was coming up with without any outside influence, and I was craving something more refined. That's kind of what I'm chasing now. Today I've been writing a bit of music, like just on MuseScore. I'm trying to apply the stuff that I've learned from learning all this music over the last 6 months. That's all stuff that I'd want to emulate, like the Morel Sonatina especially. So I'll actually talk about what I've written today. I started a guitar duet. I'm like almost through the first section, I think, and I've mainly focused on the second guitar part. It's more like rhythmic and bassy, of course. Just some like general advice if you're trying to write music too. What I'm doing, I'm kind of just giving myself a pass to like write anything derivative and anything that I think is kind of lame, just to get the ideas out. 'Cause I feel like it's easy to put yourself in this place where you want to write something good, right? Like whatever you're writing, like you want to make sure that it's good. I feel like you can almost trick yourself into just like not writing at all, just to like put it off, and then like maybe later you'll write something better. But man, it really helps just to get the ideas out there. Because like I had a bunch of ideas today for what I was writing, and a lot of it seemed like kind of lame and derivative and like very like the samba that I'm trying to play. But you know, it's nice to just get it out. The way I like to do it, I kind of like to just thinking about how I would play it on the guitar, but I'm also just putting notes down and like generally just trying to figure out the rhythms, and then I'm less critical about what the notes actually are. I'll probably likely change them, but I feel like getting the rhythm and the structure down first, that's like the most important thing. And if you can just structure like one section of the piece that you're writing and just have the rhythm be what you want, and then you can kind of just move the notes around as you see fit later on, then I think that's pretty good. Maybe one of these days I can take you on a MuseScore journey and like show you how I write stuff. It's a lot like how I play guitar. Like a lot of the improv stuff that I show you, like I'm basically just doing that, but I'm doing it much, much slower when I'm composing, and I'm like thinking about the next place I'd go. So I can be a little more sophisticated with it, versus when I'm improvising, you know, like I kind of have to just like go, go, go. Not everything is fully flushed out, and like I can do like specific things when I'm composing, of course. I'm sure I'm just rambling. I'm sorry, but I'm talking about composing. We're all interested in that, I think. I'm trying to be as articulate as possible. I'm sure this will be a bear to edit. I am just going to sit at the computer for like 10 minutes a day or so, and just at the very least fill out a measure, and just try to do that over the course of like however long. And I'm working with this single duet, so I'm just going to write this like duet. It'll probably be like 5 or 6 minutes long, and I'm just going to get a bunch of ideas out on the page, and it's very possible that I am just going to scrap that entire piece in its entirety if it's like bad and I don't like it. But it's just nice to have an example of like something that I did structure. Much like how I make these YouTube videos, like I didn't really have much of a vision for like when I started doing this, but after making the first one, I could fix at least one thing with it. Like when I go on to the next one, it's like maybe I should do that instead of that. That's just kind of a cumulative thing until eventually you get this super refined show that you see before you. It's still very much a budget project. But you know, wait for log 1,000. And I find that that's the most engaging thing about it. I know that when I film something and I do something different because I think it'll be better, that's when I'm most excited about editing it, to see like how it actually turned out. If I'm in a rut where I'm like kind of out of ideas and I do like 10 logs in a row that are all kind of similar, by the 10th one I'm like, I don't want to edit this. Like I already know what the editing is going to be like. It's going to be just the same. I get bored. So then I like change things up. So same thing with composing. You know, make your first log, it'll suck, but just try to finish it and then make a second one and see where it's at. So that's my game plan with that. Something else that I really like to do, I don't really listen to a lot of like classical music that much right now. I mainly listen to pop punk and like stuff that's reminiscent of like musicals and stuff. But I think that that is still really helpful for like how you would structure like an album of music. Like you can take like any pop punk album and look at each track and like get a general vibe for each track. Try to write a piece off of each one. I think ever since I turned like 18, I don't think I've ever written a piece of music without some other piece of music in mind. Like usually I'll have like 3 or 4 pieces in mind that I'm like trying to sound somewhat like. But yeah, that can be really powerful. Even if it's a completely different genre, it all applies. So you know, download MuseScore, try to write some stuff. That's important to do. I mean, unless you really don't want to. Unless you really like just playing other people's music, that's perfectly legitimate as well. I like doing a mix of both though. I like mixing it up, keeping it interesting. And plus, I like writing music, as I've said. Alright, well, I think that pretty much covers that. This will give us something to discuss, hopefully, in the comments. Yeah, do you guys write music? Hey, in the Discord, there's a post-a-performance and self-promotion thing. If you have any music that you wrote, post it there. Self-promotion, if you just want to post, like, a link to some sheet music, or a performance, or whatever, you're welcome to do that. Alright, well, I think that's enough talking. I would like to get to the other people's music. I'll see you at the piano bench. Back to the old grind. I think you've heard enough of my voice for today. I will see you on the other side. No, I mean the kind of power that really matters. Institutional power. Okay, I think I'm about ready to wrap this one up. I've been working a lot on the Morel, a lot of the second movement, but I've actually probably spent the majority of my time here today on the first movement because, well, let me bring it closer. I'm sorry to say it, but I think the fingering that I was using before sucks. So I'm going to show you my new fingering. It prioritizes P, don't laugh, and it's for this part right here. Oop. If you've been listening, I always mess that up. But with this new fingering, it makes it a lot less likely that I mess up, because it just works. Like, it just feels like it works. So, I'm just going to play a little bit of the first movement. I probably won't go through the whole thing. Just do a bit, just to show you. Alright, here it is. That wasn't a real performance, so I'm okay with noodling and fudging and whatever. When I was playing it before, I was using a lot of my fingers. I'm just using like a lot of thumb. I'm ending like every one of those triplets with thumb, basically. Da 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 da, end it and start the next one. So it's like a lot of thumb. But my thumb is fast enough to do it. It felt fine at like a pretty high speed. Before my original fingering, I was just trying to always use a different finger. Like, so I'd play M and then I, like going from the second to the third string though, which is always like so stupid. Yeah, so those are just little things that make me miss, like, having a teacher, like, in university. I look forward to having one again at some point, because maybe that would save me some time. Because that, what I just did there, is the right-hand fingering that I should be using. And that is what I can get to where it'll be, like, 99% foolproof when I'm playing it, where it just won't mess up. Because even just that, like, I just started doing it today, and when I was playing it for you there, I'm pretty sure they worked fine. That used to be like one of the weaker parts, that intro, and now that's going to be one of the stronger parts. And now the weak part will just be this. Trying to work that out. So I'm really happy with that. We made some progress today, like actual progress. I didn't get any better at guitar today because it's just one session. Like, did I get better in one session? No. I optimized a fingering and that made me better. It's like, it's crazy when that happens. That doesn't always happen. That does not happen every day. But today we're lucky enough to experience that. So pretty cool. That pretty much concludes this one, so I think it's about time we wrap this up. Let's go to the outro. Hey, well, you know, if you made it this far, be sure to subscribe, leave a like. Hey, want some guitar lessons? I offer that. Just reach out, send me an email, I'll help you out. I also have a lot of lesson-y type videos if you want to look at those. And yeah, of course, if you have any questions about anything, feel free to leave them. I'll answer them in the chair. I'll get to them eventually, kind of like the one today. It took a while to get to, but we finally got to it, and I think we talked about some stuff about that one, so that's good. It's about time for me to start winding down. It's Saturday night. We're staying in, I'm pretty sure. I'll probably make dinner. It's not even 11 yet. Alright, well, I'll see you tomorrow.